Trying to figure out what to work on in your real estate investing business on a daily basis is going to get you to making money is a challenge. There's a million things you could be focused on, but really it's very simple. In this masterclass, I show you what I would do if I had just an hour to work on my business, the exact roadmap and the work that it takes to get to making money in your business. And I promise you it's very simple, and you'd be surprised how much you can get done in 30 days. Let's get to the masterclass. Oh, what's up everybody? We're going to be doing some live deal evaluation, underwriting, and also lead calls. This stems from a lot of conversations I had with you guys who are like, man, I'm limited on time. How in the world do I get a deal done? Like, how can I start doing a deal a month or 2 deals a month with only an hour or 2 to work in my real estate business on a daily basis? So this training is going to be very relevant for you. This is the most important things you can be doing in your business every single day. Now, getting into this, again, what you need to be doing is talking to people, as many people as you can, and the time that you have is the idea. There's no system that's going to do it for you. There is no AI that's going to do it for you yet. But as it is right now, you have to talk to people. You have to get good at having conversations, even if it doesn't come naturally to you, right? So I'm naturally an introverted person, but when it comes to making money and it comes to doing the things that I know is going to move the needle, we're talking about a conversation can make you 10 grand. A conversation can make you 15 grand. I hear it all the time. And this is the thoughts that was running through my mind in the beginning of building my real estate business was, number one, I thought that I was better than sales. Like, I don't want to be a salesperson. I thought they're these people just manipulate people and they're the worst people in the world. I realized that sales actually comes down to intent. If your intent is to do good, then you end up doing better for people. You end up helping people. But if your intent is to do bad, you screw people over. And that's not what we're here to do, right? So it all comes down to intent. And what I realized was, if I can get good at communicating with people that I just want to help, and here's how I can help them and me get paid in the process, because that's important. You got to get paid. A lot of you guys I talk to, it's like you're running a nonprofit. We're helping people. We ain't making any money. So we got to find the right opportunity where we make money too. We got to take care of ourselves and also take care of the person across from us. But it all comes down to talking to people. So a metric that I keep track of, right? The metric that I keep track of in my personal life business is 30 conversations a day. And that's 30 conversations that move the needle. That's 30 conversations with important people in my life. It doesn't necessarily all have to be agents, sellers, or whoever. It's 30 people a day. That's what I try to do. So if you're trying to get going and trying to build your business, start making a crazy amount of money, the answer is more, right? You need to be talking to people. Now, the way that our system works, and I'll hit this real quick for you guys because I know you guys have questions and stuff around like the model itself, but like the reason why the only thing that's going to move the needle is you talking to people that have deals. Well, if you're responsible for the whole pipeline, then yes, your time is going to be the little time that you have. It's just going to take you longer to get a deal because you're having to do all this other stuff, right? So imagine it like a funnel and I'm pouring in stuff at the top of the funnel. Well, in the beginning, if you're doing all of it, you're having to sift through all this stuff here to try to find out which ones actually make the most sense for you to talk to, that's most likely to turn into a deal. And the ones that are most likely to turn into a deal, only 1 in 25 to 33 of those actually turn into a deal. So if you're doing everything from top to bottom, then yeah, your time isn't going to be spent near as well as someone who's just working with those 25 to 30 people, right? So like in my business, my VA does that top of the funnel stuff. We weeds through the agent conversations, trying to find the right ones that say, ooh, this one right here makes a lot of sense. This one right here is the one I should spend my time on calling. So today, on today's live stream masterclass, I am going to be spending time with people who are in that 25 to 30 range. People that are either coming from me from students that I'm helping them potentially try to close a deal, my internal leads, or whatever. I'm going to look at the lead with you guys, give you my input, and then from there, I'm just going to try to call the agent involved and see if we can work something out, see if we can negotiate the deal. Cool? Does that make sense, everybody? Ryan, can you hear me good? Everybody hear me okay? Jacob, what up? Joshua Hayes, what's going on? Joyce, what's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, with all that being said, let's go ahead and pull up our very first lead. So this one actually comes from Joshua Hayes. He has a lead that is in South Carolina. Typically, we don't do deals in South Carolina unless it's like home run out of the park. It's got to be a great deal. And, even then, they have very strict laws around wholesaling. So you got to be careful on how you do the deal. But if you already have either an agent in the transaction that's either representing you and helping you market the deal, or you get basically like a fancy novation, you're able to work these deals out. So it sounds like we have an agent who's just like desperate, got to find something. So in states like that have wholesaling laws, you'll actually find less competition if you know how to work within those laws. And South Carolina is definitely one of those. So here is this lead. I have to pull up our sheet. What line was it on the sheet, Mr. Josh? It's the one out in the middle of nowhere. Okay. Yeah. So this particular property looks like a lot of stuff that's in South Carolina. Okay. Here it is. I'll show you guys. So on YouTube, this will be, blurred out. But here's the property. It's off Highway 184. It's this big old house. It's 2,400 square feet, 4 bed, 2 bath. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, right? So like we're at Greenwood is a decent sized town down the road. But if we scroll out a little bit, like really, you're kind of in the middle of the state, right? There's nothing too crazy around. Like Clemson's right here. Anderson, South Carolina is a pretty big town. Hartwell, but just on the other side is Georgia, right? So this is like South Carolina, Georgia border. So with that being the case and it being in a small town, are there still buyers out here? Are there still people purchasing homes? 100%. We gotta get them so cheap, okay, for this deal to make sense. So let's figure out what the ARV is on this deal really quickly, okay? So if I'm looking at the map, I'm looking at our characteristics. We have a 4.2, 2,400 square feet out here in the middle of nowhere. So I don't have a problem using Zillow. So here's our property. It's somewhere in this range over here. Okay, 4.2, 2,400 square feet. So I had to zoom out and I'm looking for houses that have sold in the last 12 months. As you can see, not a tremendous amount of inventory, 9 houses that have sold. If I go back 6 months, who's buying out here? Apparently, some people are still buying. You got a $435,000 house. That was a 3.2 built in 1984. Someone came in here and made this thing look really nice. It's on some land. It's got this little nice thing going on in the backyard. Like you basically got your own Southern Oasis out here, okay, for $435,000. You got what looks to be some sort of really small home sold for 117, probably a fixer upper. You got this house on 15 acres, sold for 435. So our house is on 2 acres, I believe. You got something in town that was like a barn that sold for 108,000. All right. And this is just last 6 months. So we got this little 2-1 way out here, sold for 215, built in 1950. All right. We got this little 2.2, sold for 70 grand, all beat up and stuff. And this one was on, how big was this lot? 4.4 acres. Okay, so about 1,000 square feet smaller, sold for around 70. Somebody's going to go out there and do the work. If you like this video, then you are going to love our Skool community. Skool.com/no fluff real estate. You're going to find the recordings from our live trainings. You're going to have opportunities to join in on the live trainings themselves and literally everything you can imagine to get support on, from negotiations, underwriting, all the different topics that we don't even post on the YouTube channel or inside of the Skool community. But the best part is the community. Be surrounded by other investors that are doing exactly what you're doing, learning this information, but more importantly, taking massive action on it. Let's get back to the training. Stuff closer to town, selling in here. So like if you provide a good product, you could probably sell this house in the mid 300s after everything is said and done, if you provide a good product to the market. Okay. So somewhere in that neighborhood is where I'm thinking, mid 300s, 300 max, but mid 300s max, but probably somewhere in the, definitely more than 300, but probably no more than like 350 ish, for the size of house. But if you provide a good product, I think somebody will probably buy it. You will need to try to find a fix and flipper who wants to buy out here. But again, without a lot of inventory to pick from, someone might, but it's got to be a really good deal. As far as active comps are concerned, let's see anything that's under contract, active or pending. We do have a couple things out here. I like to check the active market to see like what's going on. We have this one right here for 250. That's about 800 square feet smaller. It's under contract and it's nothing nice. Okay. Got some old carpet, nothing crazy. Okay. This one's under contract. Don't know if it's at 250, but it's under contract. All right. We got one over here that's under contract at 405. This one was built in 2013 with a detached 2-car garage, a little shed. Okay. So this is a really nice house. Okay. And this one is on about 3 acres. So newer. So I don't think we can get this much for our house. But like I said, probably somewhere in the mid 3s. If it's a good product, it's going to sell. It's going to go under contract like this one. This one had 32 saves in 33 days. Okay. With that being said, now we have a little bit of context. Let's call the agent because I'm going to need a really good deal on this one. What is her name? Laura. All right. So we evaluate. So again, the most important thing you can do on a daily basis is pick up the phone and call people. I'm going to use my CRM number. This is my connection rate. My connection sucks out here. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let me hop over to main place. So the CRM has a mobile app. Okay. So that's what I'm using to make my phone calls. 678. All right. Call her from my Atlanta number. Hey, Laura, this is Matt Beard. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I can't complain one bit. This Wednesday feels like a Monday. I'm just running around crazy, but I was like, shoot. I work with Mr. Joshua, and he said, Laura's expecting your phone call. I'm like, let me call her real quick before it gets too late.
Okay.
Yeah, it's wild out here. Well, he was telling me about this. I guess the property you have out there in, gosh, I don't even know. Like, it's not even in a town. It's off a state road. The one in South Carolina, and I was looking at it, and we were kind of trying to go through comps and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? Probably just be best if we connect to see if we can figure something out on it.
Okay.
So, catch me up to speed a little bit about what you've kind of went through with Josh on it. He told me that the sellers they're looking to just sell it as it sits, but like, what's the situation with it?
It was a piece of inherited property, and the lady lives in New York.
Okay.
Had tenants in there when her dad passed away.
Got it.
Well, actually, the property was in her name before the dad passed.
All right. Mm-hmm. So they've been renting it for a while.
Mm-hmm. And the tenant died.
The tenant died?
He passed too. Yeah, he passed to sometime last year.
Okay. So it's just been kind of sitting vacant ever since?
New York, yeah. And being in New York, and she's not going to move back over there. So she's trying to sell it and move to Atlanta, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sell this one and move closer. But she's living in New York right now. She's trying to move full time to Atlanta.
Yeah, she's living in New York right now.
Nice. Whereabouts in Atlanta? Is that kind of where you do most of your business?
No, I try not to do anything in Atlanta, but I do have one that's listed up there. And the son was supposed to be making the purchase from the parents, and he just been coming up with some ridiculous offers.
Oh my gosh. He's like, hey, I'll buy it from you guys, but I'll give you, 40 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, that's about what he was doing.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, like we buy all kind of stuff, I don't know if Josh told you or not, but like we're always looking for the ugly houses like everybody. But, like I'm buying a townhouse in College Park, and that property is basically turnkey. I'm just stepping in the shoes of the owner and taking over their mortgage payments. But like we do all kind of stuff, not just the ugly houses, but primarily when I saw this one, I'm like, okay, this kind of fits our mold. This is out in kind of middle of nowhere. So, we just got to get it for a decent enough price to make sure that we can deal with the days on market. But if it's a good product, it sells. If it's done right, somebody will buy it, So yeah, 100%. So do you kind of do most of your stuff out this way in South Carolina, or like where does most of your business?
4 states.
You work in 4 states?
Yes.
Jeez Louise. So you're working on the Tennessee side too and the Alabama side?
Well, Alabama, but I had a piece of property in Alabama, but it was like a family mess. So I told the lady, you're not going to get that kind of money for that property, huh? I just back up. But I just closed on one in Alabama.
Okay.
Last Friday.
Wow. Where about in Alabama?
Calera, Alabama.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we're not a stranger to doing stuff all the way out to Auburn. And then I do have some stuff I do out in Birmingham. But, in and around Atlanta, that's kind of like our bread and butter. I'm from South Carolina. I'm from a little town called Bamberg. But, yeah, anything that I do, I try to. Atlanta's probably one of my favorite places in the whole country to buy, because I actually live in Phoenix, Arizona now. So I buy all across the country. But if something kind of pops up, we got, I got people out here that can take on projects and do everything for us. But I kind of work remote for the most part. Yeah, it's crazy.
I have a construction in South Carolina. I wish I could get rid of.
A new construction?
It could have been. Yeah, and the owner was just too greedy. So look. You just might as well cover the money. You bet this money in that house, and the house should have never been built there. I have a lot of people that's interested in it, but he thinks he's going to get full price for it.
How much does he owe against it? Does he have any equity?
No, and he paid, the whole house is equity. He paid cash.
Oh, shoot.
There's no loan on it, no nothing.
But by the time he tries to sell it, he's basically just getting his money back.
Getting his money back. That's all he's doing.
Dang. Yeah, I mean, there's all kind of situations, you never know. But with this one here off Highway 184, what's her timeline? And realistically, what is she looking to do? Because I would love to try to figure something out on it. If we can't do this one, maybe we can do another one,
I don't have a timeline. I refuse to list them. I feel they're going to have to clean the house out.
Yeah.
And the only somebody that house will benefit is an investor.
Sure. I mean, I look at it and I'm like, I'm not afraid to do it. Obviously, I'm banking on it costing a good amount of money to get it right, but we can clean it out and do all that. That's not a big deal. Like, we can kind of take that. But at the same time, of course, our numbers have to kind of line up. And I don't know kind of what they're thinking, if they're negotiable at all. But I think Josh probably told you kind of where we're at with it. Like, what do you think?
They're very negotiable.
Okay.
But 2,400 square feet, it needs a roof.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hole in the ceiling in the kitchen and the master bedroom, which the guy, there is, I believe there's mold in that ceiling. And all that comes from a bad roof.
Okay. And so the roof's been bad for a little while then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we need to replace the asphalt shingle roof on 2,400 square feet. Got to do some mold remediation, and then basically like a moderate rehab on the inside.
Yep. Yeah. Now the original hardwood floors is in most of the house. There's a 2-car garage on that with the back entrance. Okay. The front yard has a little circular drive. Yep. And you can go through the backyard and get into the garage. 2-car garage back there.
Okay. How big is the lot? Do you know? Because on Redfin it says 2 acres, and on Zillow it says 0.7 acres.
I was just going to say, if I had to guess, it's a little over half acre. Okay. Close to an acre.
Okay. Perfect. And it's got, looks like it's on pier and beam.
Pardon?
It's on pier and beam foundation.
I guess because there's a crawl space. There's a warehouse in the back. I mean, warehouse, crawl space. Kind
of looks like a time machine on the photos, huh? Huh? You look at the photos, kind of looks like a time machine on the inside. Takes you back a little bit.
I'm trying to think. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 baths. It's 4 bedrooms. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I guess it just comes down to the X's and O's and the numbers. We're going to probably be somewhere in the 100K range on something like this. Basically looking at the notes and thinking, hey, this is basically what I'm thinking on it. Of course, we'll walk it and do all that other good stuff if we come to an agreement on the price. But if they're flexible, I think I'm not opposed to doing it. Normally, when I see stuff out in the middle of nowhere like this, I'm like, probably not going to work. But if we can get it for a good enough price, I'd be willing to take a shot at it. I'll be honest with you, they don't know they don't have a clue.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if you want to kind of toss it over to them and just kind of see what they're thinking on it, that's.
How close can you? I think I can get them on about 110. Mm-hmm. If you could, or either 106.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we could put it on if you think you can get it, like. We can give it a shot at 106. Obviously, we're going to go walk it and just confirm the condition. Obviously, I know coming in, we're probably going to spend about, looking at the square footage on something like this, probably about 75, 80, on the rehab side.
You are.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, it's going to be a beautiful house once you finish. You can look at the house and tell at some point that was a gorgeous thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's honestly like my favorite part about doing this is like taking some of these houses that you could tell they were nice at one point and then bringing them up. And it's just like crazy how you can just completely change the space,
Okay. So it was, look, I wouldn't even take pictures. Whoever lives there, they left antiques in there. So I told her the best thing she can do is get contractor bags and go in there and start cleaning up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if she wants to go in there and kind of pick and choose what she wants, she can do that. And anything she leaves, we'll just trash it out,
Okay. I'll tell you what. Send me the offer.
Okay. So I don't have my license for South Carolina. So I put everything on a 3-page contract. So if your broker requires like, hey, we want a state approved contract, I'll just need you to put it on one.
I'm just going to say, if you don't have South Carolina contract, send me a breakdown and I will send it. I will put it on South Carolina contract and send it back to you for signatures. Okay. And send it to them.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
That 106,000 as is, and you'll do the cleanup.
As is, where is, we'll do the cleanup. I just need probably the due diligence, probably somewhere between 5. Honestly, with it being out there a little bit, it's probably going to take someone a whole day to get out there and get back. So if you can do me about a 7-day due diligence, that'd be perfect. So as is, where is, 106, that should be great. All right. Well, is this your cell phone? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'll text you a breakdown of all those numbers. So then that way you can kind of put it down for me. And I'll give you my entity name and all that other good stuff so you can put that on the contract. And yeah, we can see where it goes.
All right. That'll work.
Yeah, and if you got anything else, keep us in mind. We'll take a look at anything.
Oh, well, yeah. I have one in Atlanta.
Okay. What's the address on that one?
1120. They were going to sell it to the son.
Uh-huh.
And it had, at the price they quoted him, it had about $100,000 worth of equity, which they were giving him to close.
Okay.
Yeah, and he went to talking crazy. The houses out there start at $500.
Right. What did he want? What did he want to do?
He wanted to play around with them. He was getting it for $400.
Okay.
He was getting it for $400, and then they decided to give him $10,000 back to help him with repairs and whatever. Now, anything that needed repair happened while he was there. There's nothing major in that one, and which put them at $390.
Got it. And that still wasn't good enough for him. And that still wasn't good enough for him.
Well, he was playing games.
Oh, okay.
He was playing games. He's gonna submit an offer for $150,000, and by mistake he sent one for $40,000, and this has been going on for 2 years.
Oh my gosh! And you've been playing the middleman the whole time.
Yeah, before I sit out because the mom, she said the interest rates are too high. I don't want to do that to him, this, that, and the other. But when I gave him the comps, the comps were anywhere from 405 to 576, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, but he just thought he was smarter than us.
I see. So then 390 didn't work. So he wanted it lower than 390.
Yeah. Now I've gotten, I think, 6 offers from investors.
All
of them offering the same amount of money.
What are they offering?
$350.
$350. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
That I told her, and anywhere. Now I know she was down to $390 with him. So I just texted them all back. I said, if you can go up a little bit, anywhere close to that number, and I be telling them straight up and straight.
Well, that's the way to be, because it's easy to weed out.
Yeah.
The people who are just going to looky-loo and waste your time anyways. If you just be straight up, you're like, yeah, this is what they want,
So there's only one left, and that's because he's familiar with Cascade area.
Got it. Well, it is a good area though. I mean, because you got all those custom builds on those bigger lots, and you got there's some really nice houses out that way. So
and that one is it has a basement, 2-car carport up on the upper level, 1-car garage on the lower level. In a cul-de-sac. It's a nice house. Yeah,
I mean, and it's got kind of an oversized lot because of it, Okay. Well, let me see what I can do on that one. I don't know if I can come up to 390, but I might be able to beat 350 and maybe go back and forth a little bit. Who knows?
All right. Let's do it.
If I can do a 2 for 1, we buy that one and we buy this one. Come on, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Well,
and look, the guy I closed on the house in Alabama, he was from Oklahoma last week.
Hey, I probably fly into Atlanta at least a couple of times a year. So, once I get back out that way, we do a couple deals together. We're definitely going to have to connect when I get back in town.
Now, the house in South Carolina, I'm going to send you a picture. I was standing in the front yard, and the view behind me is across the highway from the house.
Okay.
You got the cows out there, the lake, and then there's another house, a big, nice house. But on the back of this house that we were talking about for 106, there's neighbors back there. So you're only 2.5 miles from a marina, whatever, however they call it. And you're about 3 miles from a lake for fishing. Either way you go, because you're 6 miles from downtown Ivor, and you're about 3 miles from downtown, little town start with a B. Okay.
Yeah, see, like, where I grew up in South Carolina, I grew up out in the middle of nowhere too, so like, this is... my town, I actually lived outside of Bamberg. Bamberg has like 3,000 people, maybe. And I grew up like 12 miles outside of a town that had 3,000 people. So my graduating high school class had 24 people. So, I'm no stranger to doing the small town stuff.
Okay. Send me the information. I'm going to make that phone call right now.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll text you. All right.
Okay.
All right. Talk soon.
All right.
All right. Well, that's helpful information. I'm gonna comp her other property real quick. But let me just comp this one real quick, Elmer. But yeah, I can do that. Yeah, she's a nice lady. I mean, if we get it for 106, I'll just got to put some feelers out there and see what we can get. Our end buyer might be somewhere around there. I got a couple people that buy in Greenville and some of these obscure places in South Carolina. So who knows? We'll put it out there. You got it, brother. Let me check out this Atlanta one too, because I was like, look, I don't know if I could pay $390, but I might be able to pay more than $350. And she was like, all right, let's do it. Well, this is one of those things, guys. It's like, it's easy to procrastinate on. It's easy to do. It's easy not to do, So it's like sometimes you just feel like, well, man, if I get the script right first before I make calls, or if I get this perfect flow down first before I start making calls, or I want to go edit the CRM a little bit. Oh my God, guys, if I had $1 every time someone's like, you know what, I'm just going to edit the workflows a little bit before I get started, or I'm going to make some tweaks to the system. And here it is, like 2 or 3 weeks later, it's like, you're going to be 2 or 3 weeks behind what you could have done 2 or 3 weeks ago, which is pick up the phone and start talking to people, right? Whenever you decide to start talking to people and say, look, I'm going to take action on this stuff that makes me fearful, that's when your journey really begins. Everything else doesn't matter. And in fact, none of it does. Like if it would have took me, like in fact, it did. Like whenever I started doing the door knocking stuff, it took me about 8 months to start door knocking. I listened to every real estate disruptor podcast. I was in the car listening to what people are doing, voicemail drops, mailers, all this kind of stuff. And then I got hit in the gut with, hey, we have a baby on the way. And I was super excited, but also very, very, very nervous. And I was like, well, I'm going to go out there and start door knocking. So really, my journey didn't begin until 8 months later down the road. I wasn't like in real estate until I started door knocking, started talking to people, because none of the other stuff mattered. None of the other stuff made me any money, nor was I any closer to making money. It's like the superpower that you eventually like develop in doing this is just getting started and making mistakes along the way. Because like whether I would have started 8 months prior or 8 months later, like I could have had already made all those mistakes because like all the other stuff didn't matter. Like I could have already been 8 months ahead. But like if I would have waited to like know what I know now, right? All the knowledge is in my head today. If I would have knew it way back when, I've talked about this on one of our trainings, but if I would have knew it way back when, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago when I was door knocking, if I would have known what I know now back then, I would 100% have done more deals within my first 30 days, within my first 60 days. Like absolutely. I would have more leverage on my time. But the problem is it took me 3 years to learn it. So if I would have waited and watched more videos and did more trainings and attended more classes and bought more things and stuff, 3 years down the road, I would still be at day one. And I would still need to learn the lesson that you're only going to learn by doing deals. And the lessons you're only going to learn by talking to people. My best lessons come, right? That's where you learn. So nothing is going to replace that ever. Never, ever, ever. Josh says, yeah, my whole thing was literally just the fear of picking up the phone and creative avoidance. Yeah, because you can 100% find something else to do because all this stuff seems important, but like none of it really, this is the not so fun part about it all, right? It's like, you can, like if you're playing sports and you're playing football, like you can watch all the film in the world, but no matter what, you still got to go out there and run your wind sprints. And that's the doing of the work. It always seems nice when you're sitting on the couch, writing down, like last night, I stayed up to about 1 o'clock in the morning, kind of writing down some of the strategies that I'm about to start implementing inside of the community. And one of those things is starting another 30 deal and 30-day challenge. And it always sounds great in theory, but the implementation of what's on this sheet is grueling and it sucks. But it's also awesome. But like, that's where the work happens and none of the other stuff matters. So I just hope more than anything, you guys can see like this is the work that is required. And if you just do it, if you just start getting good at this skill, because this is a learnable skill, you can get good at it. Like the world is yours. You can do as many deals as you want. Like 30 deals in 30 days. Okay. Could we do 60 deals in 30 days? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But like, it's not rocket science, but it takes time to develop this. And many of you guys, it has taken you 2 years to get here, 3 years to get here, a whole 10 years to get here, or a month. I don't know where you're at, but regardless of whatever's happened in the past, let it go and say, today, I'm going to start taking this thing serious. Today, I'm going to get over my fear of, I'm not going to get over it. I'm just going to act in spite of, man, I'm scared about making this phone call messing up. Great. Well, I'm still going to act in spite of it. Right. And it's like, man, this is against who I've been. Yeah, 100%. You're going to have to change who you've been to become who you need to become. It's the only way growth happens. But it all starts by making these small little decisions. So hopefully today, guys, I know I was only able to in the hour have that one great conversation with the agent. Try to call another one, but they didn't pick up. But if, again, whatever time you had, if you just spent the time you had doing stuff like this, looking at properties, making phone calls, having great conversations, I promise you, it is impossible not to do deals. You will 100% do deals, but the magic comes in the consistency of doing this day in and day out. Yeah, the cool thing is once you get on the phone, most of everybody is going to be super nice because this is how they run their business. They're not going to burn bridges. Every now and then you run into an agent. I had an agent here in Arizona who has no problem burning bridges. He talked to me and was like, you know what? I hope you F off completely, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, cool. No worries, man. Say, hope you have a great afternoon. Hope you have a great day. Good luck in business. Hope you make all the money in the world. Because I know I am. I know I'm going to try. I don't need to do business with you to live the dreams that I want to dream. To live the dreams that I have. I don't need to do business with you. So it's okay. Go do your thing. Burn all the bridges. But I'm still going to be here in 10 years. So whatever. Matt, will you guys follow up with her now? Or do I need anything else with that agent? No, you're good. I'll follow up with her. I got to send her the offer information. But I do have a call starting in 2 minutes. So I got to hop over to that. But in the meantime, I'm going to send her everything via text so she has it, and then we'll progress. We'll see what happens with this other Atlanta deal too. Maybe a little 2-for-1. So guys, hopefully this training was valuable. You understand, you start to see even more of what it takes. So right now, I just want to say shout out to everybody in the April challenge. If you do a deal in the April challenge, you get a free virtual ticket to the mastermind at the end of May 29th, May 30th, and 31st here in Scottsdale, Arizona. So bust your tails, work with your team leaders, get those contracts. I've seen a lot of contracts on the board. We have a little Trello board where we're keeping track of this. And I think Team Red got like 4 contracts today. So shout out Team Red. You guys are crushing it. Team Green, you guys are doing awesome too. So keep doing your part, guys. I promise you everything on the back end naturally takes care of itself.